there's no replacement for displacement?
There is. It's called a supercharger.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Holy fuck.
Now we're moving. I bet you're still pulling, man.
Dude, that's on the way to like 900 crank, dude.
I'm in trouble.
Maybe 1,000 crank.
I'm in trouble.
All right, so we're back at Jeff's for the hopefully final round. We installed the Treadstone 1700 horsepower capable intercooler, the 10 rib Procharger dry belt system. Hopefully that'll fix all the little issues that we had. We had back pressure in the twin coolers. We had the intake air temperatures were too high. The belt was slipping at high RPM. So hopefully this will fix, hopefully the issues are fixed. You know, we're about to find out today. So yeah, let's get started. The other thing that we did was we got another alternator. It's been probably 3 years since the last McMahon alternator was rebuilt. So that went at the same time for whatever reason. I don't really believe in coincidences, so it just makes me think, you know, there might be something we're missing. But it was actually the blower pulley and the alternator pulley were like really close, and I tightened it down last time here because the belt was slipping, and I think when I tightened it, like I pulled it too far to where it actually touched the alternator pulley. So you could see like scratching on the outside of the alternator pulley. I mean, it's possible, you know, that could have done it, but either way, that's fixed too, so. Hey, does it matter like the positioning of the blow-off valve? Because when the old intercooler, it was pointed up, and this time it's pointed down, and it's fluttering.
Fluttering?
Yeah.
Probably got more airflow now.
Oh,
Remember?
that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So before it was backed up, it was probably perfectly fine pushing on that
Yeah.
blow-off. But now we've got so much air.
So it's actually a good sign.
Yeah, it's probably too tight.
Yeah.
So it's pissed off.
Low or higher?
Something's always pissed off on this car. There's also 25 PSI in the tires. I can't remember what you had it at last time, if that's enough or not. But
Usually air about the 30s.
I had to take the standalone tank out for the nitrous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put the battery in the back and put it over there because it fit like right where I had to put the pipe. The pipe's a little bit, it's 3 inch and the old one was 2.5, so it just didn't fit in the same spot. It was rubbing up against the Procharger. So basically what you're saying is I'm gonna have to start getting like 55-gallon drums or something if I want to do E85.
Yeah.
Dude, I
I
can't
mean,
find
so
them.
Methanol would probably be better then, because I mean the reality is like if I want to, you know, I still want to be able to like drive at places too, and
it's gonna chew through some fuel on you.
yeah.
Like this car really.
Then we're gonna start doing meth.
Oh yeah, yay. That's what we all like. I always wanted to be a meth head.
That's the next step.
I get called that from time to time.
Is that where you're at, really?
Yeah. Well, that's what we're gonna be at.
Well, look at it this way. So, like, say you put a 3-gallon or 3.5-gallon tank back there.
Yeah.
It's only on when you're in boost. Aggressively rolling, you know.
Yeah.
You're not using it all of it all the time.
Right.
You get methanol, like a 55-gallon drum's like $285.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. Sold.
Yeah, well, you're burning it.
Sold.
You're burning a gallon a minute. Not even. It's really like 30 gallons a minute.
Yeah, but you're only running it.
3.5-gallon tank would last me about a month.
You're only running it in boost.
The thing I would suggest is when you do the meth system, do it all with PTFE 4 AM line.
Yeah.
Don't play around with that.
Yeah, I saw they have like, I guess there's PTFE line that's like made for meth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, because like my car had that fucking push lock shit. So
Yeah.
when it's on heat, that's when that shit went up.
Okay.
So that's why I say hand fittings and everything.
Yeah.
Like ProMeth offers 2 different pumps. We have their biggest pump on Alice's car.
Yeah.
And he's coming out with a bigger nozzle. He's coming out with like I think a 40 and a 50.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be sending us more than this.
So yeah, I think it just depends on what
Every time we come here, you add shit. I want you to know that. Now we have that methanol.
Oh yeah, well because the thing is, like every time that you fix something and you get something,
This is what you were
then you have
talking
to
about.
change
That's
something.
what you keep talking about.
Yeah.
It's not going to be done.
It's never ending. That's why I was like, you know, in a couple of years, it's going to be a race car. Like
Stop.
that's what happens.
I was looking at just a regular 6-speed. I'm like, let's just get this.
Because think about it. Like if you could get, you know, 900, and then, well, if you just put a different fuel in here, then you could have an extra. Like, what, you're not going to do it. You know what I mean? And that's what happens.
So
And then after you get that, then it's like, oh, well, how can we make the methanol, you know, work more efficiently? Like it's there's always something better. There's always something to, yeah.
Where are you going to put a tank? You got to put a tank inside.
Yeah, let's put it in the trunk.
So now you can't take your T-tops out.
No, in the trunk. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, you put it in the sidewall maybe. You put it in the...
Oh, like one of the cubbies.
Yeah.
Pull out one of your subs. That may work. All right, I'm
Well,
ready.
no, in that one, you don't have to pull the sub out. I mean, on that side, you can, it's all open.
Okay. All right. Well,
You just have to build...
I'll see how you do it, man. I'm not.
I'll just build a bracing.
I don't
for
want
the
to be
tank.
buying fucking drums of methanol and smoking crack. You're taking me
say
down the
that
wrong
now.
road. You're taking me down the wrong road, bro.
say that
You're
now.
fucking.
You wait.
I want methanol. I want.
You have nice things.
I want
nice
900
things.
horsepower. Why does Mike get 900
Yeah.
horsepower?
Why can't Ben have nice things?
Fuck, man.
Ben works hard.
Ben works
Ben
hard.
deserves nice things.
I want nice things. Fuck.
Why do you have methanol? Why
Yeah.
can't I have
Why
methanol?
don't I have
I should
methanol?
have methanol.
This is how Jeff stays in business.
Yeah, that's it.
Is fucking.
Because of an addiction.
Yeah, this is. He's sort of a drug dealer if you think about it.
Yeah. Horsepower, 100%.
Oh man. Well,
Okay.
oh, there you
There
go.
we go.
Holy fuck.
Now we're moving.
Oh shit, son.
That's better than 6. I bet you're still pulling, man.
Uh-oh.
Dude, that's on the way to like 900 crank, dude.
I'm in trouble.
Maybe 1,000 crank.
Yeah, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, that's getting 800 crank right there, man.
Well, you just did that.
I think for 818 crank.
It said 818. Somebody changed the so quick.
Yeah. One problem that I did have was the alternator was cutting out before, so I don't know if that may have affected, like, you know, fuel as well. So this is brand new. I started it up, it was FM15. I was like, here we go.
It's,
So it should be good.
I was only on 16 degrees, so I mean, like,
So we should get all that pump.
it's, and I'm not even all the way wound out yet.
Yeah.
I was on 52, 5400,
What boost? How many PSI did you hit there?
11 pounds.
Really?
Well, we ain't up there yet.
Oh, okay. Where'd you back out?
Again, this motor's chewing down a lot of air, so
Yeah.
you know, just because we got it fully maxed out, it may not make full. You know, I mean, that motor's capable of 32, but it'll never make that. If the motor's consuming more, and there's less restriction on the system. So,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
but the throttle response is night and day.
Oh yeah, no, I could feel it. It felt like it wanted to pull in every gear, and I was just hitting it like 3/4 at the most. So
You didn't shit.
yeah.
And it's cold. That good cool air.
So on that whole pole, remember our air temps? You know what this was?
What?
Never went over 72 degrees.
Yeah. Holy shit!
Yeah.
So
That's insane.
Was that a 50?
It was at 150.
That's
before.
about. Yeah, that's like half.
yeah.
Wow.
Treadstone, man.
I told you it was all in the intercooler. That's exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
You were getting the same throttle with the NLX. So,
No shit.
yeah, it's about the party.
Hell yeah, man.
That's that.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow.
1200. The scale to 1200. That's crazy, dude. I only seen him do it like twice, dude. Switch it to scale. So,
Oh my God.
Wheel.
Man, you're a monster. You're creating monsters at F-body, man.
605. Wow. That's gangster. Because horsepower is a calculation off of torque.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah, you're probably hitting like 710 wheel, but I don't know. What's that say? Oh, 706. Okay, I was kind of close. You go to Gapplebee's.
831.
You go to Gapplebee's. I'll take you all to
Oh, shit.
Is it maxing out?
No, I'm only like 13 pounds. That's it.
But I mean, is it like hitting 13 and just staying at 13? Like you think maybe?
It's solid.
Is it? Okay.
You lost something.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. They went down. That was a huge
The
loss.
charge pipe popped off.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, what?
The charge pipe popped off. Yeah.
What happened? Yeah.
Next to the intercooler. Right here. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see.
She said.
I think 55 or 65 on that car.
Yeah.
And then we push it. And it doesn't get more than enough fuel.
I don't know, man. What do you think?
Crank pulley's pinned, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 2 pins in it. I don't know. I mean, do you think the belt could have stretched now that it's hot?
Possibly, because that's the first time it's got oiled on.
Yeah. So he's done everything that he can do. I mean, there's something going on. I don't know if it's a boost leak or what the deal is, but it's also got a IAC problem. So he's going to mess around with that, and then we're going to take it back to the shop and see if there's a boost leak somewhere. The thing is, the bypass valve is fluttering, so there definitely is a problem there. So I mean, we need to start with that. That may be the issue. I've smoked everything before we came out here. We also popped the charge pipe off, so I mean, it's possible that, you know, we could have created a boost. I don't know. I mean, we got to take it back and smoke it and see. So we'll let him get the idle right, and yeah, then we'll do that. I think when the charge pipe popped off, it hit the running lamp on the driver's side, because that side's blown. Yeah, I mean, that's what's hooked up to the coils.
So,
That's the 2-step.
fuck, we should have tested that. I have had these literally activate full timing
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Alright, I forget what was the other one. It was one recently too that had it. The car picked up like a shitload of power after we fucking
Really?
just unplugged it from the coils. But it was somehow pulling timing. Like, and it wasn't active or nothing, or it wasn't supposed to be. And we're not.
Yeah.
It's making me wonder. I mean, I haven't done it strap it back.
You want to try it again?
I can strap the front real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I'll swap
I'm
them.
really curious, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I am too, obviously.
it's worth one more try.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't gonna hurt nothing at this point.
Right. Yeah, it should be
If it makes it,
connected and out of the way.
I'll be like, what the fuck?
Right? I'm gonna try one more time, see what happens. That's interesting. It's very interesting. That's crazy, dude.
Fucking boost is bad.
Really?
You know why? It's not pulling timing on a cylinder or something, or cutting one out on us.
I mean, it's not even gonna, well, okay. It technically, I mean, when the car's on, it's on. It's not supposed to be active until you hit the clutch, but it is connected and it is on. All right, so we went to Jeff's Tuning yesterday, and first of all, let me start out by saying, if you're in like the North Central Florida area and you're looking for a tuner, like Jeff is your guy. As you can tell from the end of the video, it was really dark. That's because we stayed late, had some issues that we had to sort out, and Jeff went above and beyond. You know, I mean, he usually leaves at like 4 o'clock, and we were there till like after 8. He also did stuff that tuners normally don't do. As I'm sure you know, typically tuners, there's really good tuners out there, and there's some mostly mediocre, you know, tuners out there. I mean, it's really easy to tune a bunch of cars, or when you get somebody that comes in with a car that has a similar setup to a tune you've done before, you can take that tune, throw it in their car, make a couple little changes. That seems to be what's, there's a lot of that out there. And then you have the guys that start from scratch, go through and try to, you know, maximize the potential of your car, of your setup, of everything that you bought, and make it all efficiently work together to have, you know, the best come. So, you know, years ago, tuners would just, you know, they would, like I said, they would just throw tunes in a car and they do some wide open throttle pulls. You take your car home, and the next thing you know, you wake up the next morning, you start it up and it won't idle right, or, you know, it's the part throttle is kind of iffy and you have to take it back. And tuners have progressed a lot, you know, since throughout the evolution, but that is pretty common, or was pretty common in the industry. But yeah, I mean, there's still, you know, a lot of people out there. It's, you know, there's a lot of tuners out there now. A lot of people call themselves tuners. I've been through a lot of them. And like I said, I mean, Jeff just wants to, he wants you to be happy with his work. And he has a real passion for what he does. And he has a lot of knowledge. And yesterday, he proved it. You know, I mean, we were out there late. Like I said, typically tuners will just, you know, throw a tune in your car. The good ones will typically like start from scratch, and they'll, you know, usually tuners don't get physically involved in the car. Typically they're going to do, you know, everything from the computer. You're going to do some runs, maximize what the customer brought to you, and if the car has problems, you tell them, look, I think, you know, these are your issues you need to take home and address. You have, you know, a vacuum leak, you have a, you know, a sensor problem or wiring problem or spark issue, you know, whatever. You know, they might give you advice to take home and mess with and then bring it back to them. Jeff was pulling spark plugs. He was, you know, checking the intercooler piping. He was messing with the, you know, the vacuum. He's physically getting involved to try to get more power out of the car. So it wasn't, you know, he could have stopped where he stopped, but he actually, you know, got out of the car and physically, you know, got involved, which was really cool. Normally when I go to him, if there's an issue, like I try to resolve it, because that's not really what they do, you know, so it's not fair to just, you know, go to a tuner and have issues with the car and then be like, okay, well, you know, can you figure it out? Like, no, you brought the car there. If there's a mechanical problem, like that's, you know, that's you. You need to resolve that before you bring it to them. So when we have mechanical issues, you know, I'll work on the car while we're there. And most tuners won't let you do that either. So, you know, he lets me do, you know, whatever changes I need to in order for him to get as much power out of the car as he can. So just an amazing guy. Again, you know, he stayed beyond, hours beyond, you know, when they close, and helped a lot. We resolved a lot of issues. I thought, like when we first went in, I had changed the intercooler, changed the dry belt system, changed the gap of the spark plugs, relocated the vacuum line for the bypass valve. All these things to fix the issues that we were having. We were having a slipping belt issue. We were having a intake air temperature being too high, charge pressure, having too much back pressure. There was a few issues. So anyway, these parts, I believed would resolve the problem, and they did for, the most part. But there's some little, changes that we need to make. So when I put the belt on the blower, I, just to be safe, made it a little tight because it's hard to adjust on his lift while we're there. So if it needs to be looser or tighter, then it's, I'll have to take it back to the house or take it back to the shop and then, bring it back. So I was trying to find the sweet spot, and I may have made it too tight. Jeff said something that I didn't really think about because I was used to having the 8-rib belt. And so you can have the belt slip because it's not tight enough, but you can also have the belt slip because the belt gets hot and it'll slip. So if you have a really tiny pulley and it's spinning, beyond what it's really, made to spin, it's going to heat the belt up, and then that's going to slip as a result. It can happen if you have, no matter what size pulley. I mean, if you have like a giant pulley, chances are it's not going to happen, but you know what I mean? Like smaller, the more chance you are of that happening. So yeah, we had some good runs. Well, we had a couple good runs in the beginning, and then we started having a problem where Jeff would put, he'd add spark, and then somehow it was getting retarded on its own. And so we went from 841 to, so it was like 700. So like it dropped off, dramatically, and it kept, dropping off. And so we're chasing our tail, messing with the car, trying to see if there's a boost leak or, belt tension, whatever. Messing with it. Can't figure it out. I got to the point to where I was ready to give up and just take it back to the shop, tear everything apart, figure out what the problem was. And Jeff said, just for the heck of it, I've seen people that have that Lingenfelter two-step and it retard the timing. So I hadn't heard of that. I've had it for a while. I mean, I really haven't had any issues with it. It's fun. So I didn't really think about that. And just for the heck of it, we disconnected it, and we immediately got, it was like another 60 or 70 horsepower. So that was obviously affecting it. And then I started reading on, some forums of people having that issue. So, yeah. I mean, the plan eventually is to go Holley EFI, and it has all this stuff built in, obviously. So I'm not really, too worried about it. I mean, I'm just going to disconnect it for now. But, yeah, so we ended up making 849 crank. And I really, I was trying to max the D1SC out. The max is 925. So we were really close, but only able to hit like 12 or 13 PSI, and I'm not really sure why. So I really doubt that there's a boost leak. We smoke tested multiple times, not just hooking it up to the vacuum line and the intake. We connected all over, into the piping and into the vacuum line that goes directly to bypass valve. We did the intake and those hoses. So, yeah, I don't think there's a boost leak, but I didn't actually ever pressure test it. So I'm going to do that. We're going to put it, because the reality is, if I put 12 pounds of pressure in there and it starts leaking from somewhere, a smoke test is only good. It's going to, the majority of the time, it's going to resolve the issue, but it can't duplicate pressure. So I'm going to try that. I want to put, some pressure in it and see if it's leaking out somewhere under pressure. Hopefully it is, because that would be, nice, easy fix. But if it's not, I don't know. I got the D1SC. I sent it off to Procharger, had them open it up. They looked at it, said everything looked great. Bearing's still spinning like new. Everything looks nice and clean. So they said, just leave it alone. It's good to go. We'll just, reseal it, send it back to you. So I know that's good. The intercooler piping, like I said, we smoke tested. And the engine, of course, there's always other possibilities. Like it's always the one thing you didn't do, you know? Like, I was putting the motor together and I was trying to figure out, you know, how I was going to film it and everything. And I had a list of things that, you know, I wanted to do, and I was paying attention to that. And after I put the motor together, I was like, you know, I never actually checked the valves. Like, I eyeballed them, but I never checked to see if they were leaking, you know? So, I don't know, I might do a leak down test just to see. Because, I mean, the reality is, like, what are the chances? Of course, there's always a chance, but what are the chances, really, of the rings being, you know, the rings leaking? Chances are, if we do a leak down test and there is a substantial leak, then we know that, you know, it's the valve seating, not the rings. So I'll probably do that along with doing, if we don't find anything. I mean, if we find something extraordinary in, you know, pressure test, then chances are is what it is. But if we can't find anything, then externally, then I'm going to do that. And yeah, it's just obviously a pain in the neck, you know, in this car. Getting to change the spark plugs is fun as it is, but doing an actual pressure test and getting everything down there is whatever. It's part of the fun. So what else? Yeah, so I mean, the reality is, like, you know, we made close to it. We basically did, you know, we almost did what it was that I set out to do. I do want to cover all the bases. If I do find something substantial, then we'll go back to Jeff and just, you know, to close out this section, you know, just to show that, you know, we did do what we set out to do. But I feel, you know, comfortable. We have come pretty close to what we were trying, you know, what we set out to do. You know, 850 isn't far off from 900. So yeah, I think probably what we're going to do for now, I'm going to diagnose those things. If I find anything, you know, we'll make changes and go back. If we don't find anything and, you know, the engine's good, you know, no boost leaks, no other contributing factors, then I think we're going to run this for a while, and, you know, we'll take it to the track, you know, we'll take it to some events and just, you know, see what it does, have fun with it for now, and then we'll start making changes after the fact. So, like, the next few things I want to do, I'm trying to basically show what the average person does. You know, like the stages that you go through. So, you know, most people, you know, the average guy, these things are expensive. So the F194 setup, you know, like with the front mount and the 10 rib drive bell system and everything, is somewhere around like 12, 13 grand, you know, from Procharger. Obviously there's distributors out there, you can find it cheaper, you can find it used, whatever. But for the most part, like, it's an expensive thing, you know. A lot of people opt for the P series or D series just because, you know, they're saving some money. And, you know, most people they throw it on a stock LS1 or in a heads cam LS1. Chances are, you know, if you have a 408, a 427, something like that, you know, you have a little money to throw at it. But for the most part, I think a lot of people do what it is that I'm doing. I started with, you know, I bought this car with like 30,000 miles on it, and drove it around the country for my job years ago. And then after leaving that and starting my own business, I, you know, was back home. So then I started to actually modify it. So bought heads and cam, bought other motors for it, and, you know, went through the natural progression, playing around with nitrous, and then wanting some more power. So, okay, let's get a Procharger. Okay, engine can't handle that. You know, the bottom end can't handle that. And so now let's get a crate motor that's built for it, so on and so on. And I think a lot of people, you know, I mean, you're trying, these parts are expensive, you know, so a lot of people try to cut corners, you know, if they can, and buy, you know, used stuff. So that's what I did. You know, I bought a used D1SC. And you try to cut corners by buying like the cheap one or the middle one, you know. So I'm trying to show the natural progression and the things that you go through, and the diagnostic steps, you know, the troubleshooting of, you know, what are the ramifications of buying these parts, buying these parts, throwing this stuff together, and, you know, does it all work out? Usually not. Usually there's issues and you have to figure them out and you make changes. So that's what I'm trying to do. Obviously, I could go, you know, buy a $30,000 motor and have 1,500 horsepower and throw it in here and call it a day, you know, but that's not the point. So I want to show the, you know, the natural steps. So the next thing we'll probably end up doing, I think the average person is going to either would, you know, go to meth or go to E85. You know, and once you get to like a certain horsepower level, like it makes more sense. But, you know, if you have multiple controllers for things, you know, like it makes sense to go Holley EFI or Fuel Tech or somebody, you know, that has a controller that's, you know, has a bunch of outputs and stuff. So that'll be, you know, one of the next steps that we do. But we've done a ton of these, you know, working in the garage videos, and that's fun and helpful. But, you know, the whole point is to go out on the track and, you know, go out and go to events and have fun. So I think we're going to do that for a while. I'll still have the garage videos. We still have Ben's car to build. So I'll be doing that in the background and, you know, making videos for that. We have the 87 Trans Am that we're building. I have the motor I have to build for that. We have the 81 Trans Am that the motor's sitting right there. We have to build that. So now there'll be a little bit more variety. You know, we'll have some of the garage stuff. We'll have, you know, the racing and the events and stuff. Yeah. So what are the next things? I guess some of the things we do have to resolve. We have a couple issues. Put the TBM brake master in here, and I don't think I have the preload correct, because from what I was watching on their tutorial, it looks like they consider preload like 0, you know, like no pressure at all. And I'm sure that there's a little bit of pressure on there because the pedal directly hits the brake switch, which is, you know, spring loaded. And when I hooked it up, or when I adjusted it initially, the push rod, I had it adjusted for the length of the bracket that it hits, not for, you know, there's like a space you have to account for the connector where it's hitting, and I don't think I accounted for that. So I think it's just pushing just a little bit. And I wish I had a master I could show. But basically, in their video, you know, you have the push rod, and it has these seals on it. And then when it goes into the master, where the seals are supposed to go, there's a couple points that there's holes in the master where this has to go, you know, back and forth through. And if you have it adjusted too far, it can go right underneath one of the holes, and then it'll never work right. So I think that's the issue that we're having. So I'm going to adjust that. The other issue. So it could also be when I installed the master, I bench bled it, and then I put it in, and then I was waiting on a line, and so it sat, and I think it's a possibility that too much fluid leaked out. So if that's the case, then it's not properly bled. You know, it wasn't properly bled when I installed it. So there could be, you know, air from that. So I'm going to try to adjust it first, bleed it, see if that resolves the issue. If it doesn't, then I'm going to take it out, bench bleed it, go through the process again. It just sucks. It's not a quick install, you know. So what else? In order to install the intercooler piping is bigger than the old piping. So I ended up where I had to take out my nitrous independent fuel tank. So I got to figure out where I'm going to put that. I think I'm probably just going to do the norm, take out the battery, stick that in the trunk, and then I'll put the fuel tank in its spot. What else was I going to do? Yeah, let's build a bracket for that. Oh, and then I got to figure out where, well, we'll worry about the meth tank later. We're not doing that yet. That's in the future. What else? Oh, one of the issues that we had, there was the TPS and the IAC were acting weird, kind of like intermittently when he was tuning it. So I'm going to change those sensors out. I have a couple laying around to see if it does anything or if it's, you know, something to do with the wiring. And then, I want to pressure test, you know, the system and just do some checks, leak down tests and stuff, and just make sure that we're good. So, yeah, that stuff will be coming up. Working on Ben's car will be coming up. We'll be going, you know, to some events. And, yeah, then we'll start getting to the other stuff that I have around that's been sitting forever. So, I mean, all in all, it wasn't bad, you know. I mean, it wasn't the exact number that I was looking for, but if indeed we find out the motor's good, there's no leaks anywhere, and this is just what number we're making with this setup, then I'm good. I'm not worried about it. You know, we could probably make a cam change, a head change, you know, some stuff to reach that number, but we're close enough. You know what I mean? Like I'm not worried about it. The next thing will be, I do want to get a different Procharger. You know, I want to get I think the next up is probably like the F1A94. That seems to be what everybody gets. So we'll probably just, I have the old system and a bunch of old, you know, pulleys and, you know, extra parts. So I'll probably just sell that stuff, take that money, put that, you know, buy an F1A94 and just stick it on, because like that's literally all we have to do. I bought everything that comes in the kit anyway. So besides actually, you know, redynoing it obviously, but that's fun. Yeah, that's what we have coming up now. So, or coming up next down the pipeline. So yeah, good stuff. You know, we learned some more things. We made some mistakes. We accomplished, you know, some of our goals. So I'm content, you know.